Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry about that, man. We had a power outage in my neighborhood. For those of you guys who are watching the live stream, which I don't know if I think we might have one or two, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. But still wanted to let you guys know. Sorry, I didn't know the power was going to go out, but we are under a flash flood warning now. Man, that weather, that bad, that bad weather moving real quick. Um, I mean, it's a little bit overcast, but now it's like dark, and the rain's starting to come down. And it's interesting when I finished work and I was driving back home. I saw the cable guy because my internet's provided by my local cable cable company, and I saw him working on the line. So even though the power it went off and it came back, and that's one of the things I like about StreamYard. As long as the power comes back, because it was like maybe 10 seconds, it popped back on. The problem I was having was the actual router, so I had to fix that. Because normally the power comes off, if it pops back on, the streaming was still going on. So I've had longer breaks when the power didn't go off. You know what I'm saying? That I take for myself sometimes on this channel. So I was just going to jump back in, but that router was not going to kick over. Dude, so I had to unplug everything and I just restarted the broadcast, guys. So again, I do apologize. What's up, Tom man? Dude, just Tom man, bro. My power just went out. I was actually streaming for about half an hour. I feel bad because Daniel popped in, and he'll probably pop back in, but I felt bad because he was here, and then that show died. But the interesting thing about StreamYard, right? The StreamYard continues, but I couldn't connect back to the stream because the power went off. But then I was having problems with my router, so I have to reset everything. Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm under a flash flood warning, but it was just overcast, and all of a sudden, dude, the rain's starting to come now. But within the time that the power went off, so wherever the power station is, they're probably getting poured on right now. So just to let you guys know, man, if it ends abruptly again, and I can't get back in, then I'll just call it a night. But thanks for being here, Tool Man, bro. Appreciate it. So I just wanted to look. You know this. You saw the title, right? I was talking about it for half an hour prior to. Just kind of rehash it real quick, and we'll move forward. Rinse, wash, and repeat. All right. Xbox again, dominating the. Is this thing on? Yeah. Okay. Xbox again, sucking out the air out of the room, like I said earlier. Right, dominating the news cycle, good and bad. Right, they cover both ends. And again, like I say on my channel, this is why they are the industry leader. Right, people wouldn't focus on you if you're not the big dog. That's just a simple fact. Right? And of course, everybody's all out of sorts. PlayStation doing whatever they're doing, raising the prices on their service, I believe. Right. Again, I've been busy with a lot of other stuff, guys. Did a video yesterday talking about uh, technology that we have that could possibly the United States government has that could possibly bend space and time. Right. I've been going down that rabbit hole on top of all the other stuff that I do and actually playing my games, like I said earlier. Enjoyed Avowed. I'm going to play it this weekend. South of Midnight because I haven't got a chance to play it myself. Been watching my daughter play, but then she got distracted by Marvel Rivals, and she's also. I think she's gonna kick off again with Overwatch. They got a new stadium mode. Look, dude, if you're on the Xbox side, dude, you have no. The only problem you're gonna have is what I talk about all the time. It's just not having time to play all these games. Shout out to Bruv. He did another video that was absolutely epic. Right? He was holding Nintendo and PlayStation a task for the stuff that they do. Now, for me personally, I tell you guys all the time on this channel, I don't really care what they do on the Nintendo and the PlayStation side, unless it affects me here. You know, like as you guys know, sometimes we do these podcasts. Dude, I'm a pro Xbox channel, guys, and we have PlayStation guys come in here, and they're more than welcome to come in here. But you see what I mean? Like I don't go to any. I don't even know what the. I guess that one guy. What's his name? What's his name? Cool man, dude. I forget the dude with the glasses. I don't even remember his name. Reforge. We have Reforge Gaming. Then you got Dreamcast guy. I always remember Dreamcast guy because I hate his name. You should change it to PlayStation guy. But I don't watch their stuff, dude. The only time I see their stuff is somebody clips it or somebody brings it up, right? And then I have to address it. But if you guys want to pay $80-$90 for games and you're fine with that, dude, more power to you, man. Look, Nintendo feels they have a premium product. They're going to charge you a premium price, right? They're going to charge you a premium price for their console and their games. as they feel that's their right to do, right? Maybe it's the process, right? Maybe it's the tariffs. That's what they like you to think, right? Right? And maybe they just sit there and it's like, you know what, dude, we put so much time and energy, costs are higher, dude. This is how much it costs to make the game, and this is what we want to do to make our money back. Or they could be being greedy, right? It could be all of one. Take your pick. I just want to remind you guys, I did a video the other day where I exposed a lot of this stuff on the tariffs, right? Shout out to China. They blew everything up. But there's a lot of people, a lot of you guys out there who buy brand stuff that didn't know that most of that stuff's manufactured in China for super dirt cheap. And then when you're buying their brand, right? You're buying these people's brand thinking that, it's made magically in some kind of forest somewhere. made by magic and spells and unicorns and butterflies, right? Now you're finding the harsh reality because China, they're under NDA technically to not talk about this stuff, but because of all the tariff stuff, they just came on and said it just to get back at all these dudes. And I saw it online, dude. Some of you guys did not know that your Louis Vuitton or your Coach or your Nike, or however much you pay for these shoes, are actually made in China. You guys actually thought like some artisan somewhere in some European country, right, far away, like the cobblers of old, or the craftsmen of old, like something you see out of like some kind of fantasy fiction type story, right, or movie, like fine tuning your designer clothes, designer bag. A lot of you guys found out the harsh reality that it's mass produced just like everything else. Though I will say, in fairness, right, there's levels to the quality of manufacturing in China. Some are definitely higher than others, right? I'm pretty sure they have better quality control than most other things that are produced in other factories in China. I'll give them that much. But still, right, there's a reason why everybody gets their stuff over there, right? So if you want to believe whatever you want to believe, at whatever point you feel that these companies are doing what they're doing. Some people think it's absolute greed, right? Some people it's just they feel like that's they should get paid for their work, right? I'm along those lines mostly, right? Because at the end of the day, I let the power of the consumer roll my pocketbook, right? If I can't afford something, I don't buy it. If it's something that I really want, dude, I go through the process of maybe selling something to get it, or maybe saving up the money. Um, I'm too old to be picking up side jobs like I did back in the day, dude. The hustle's real, man. I respect hustle culture, man. I do, but I'm too old for that now, right? So I got to be more frugal with my stuff. Given the economy we have, how much stuff costs. I went to Sam's the other day, man. Pick up a couple bags of candy for Easter. Some of it, one of the bags for my workplace, because everybody kind of brings stuff, and it's kind of my turn, which is fine, dude. Fair. Like the atmosphere, like the environment, like my coworkers have no problem doing that. Right? You got Easter, of course, everything's gonna be upsold. All right, but still, I kept my footprint low. Bought some bread, bought some milk. Couldn't get the eggs because they didn't have some tag on it. It was ridiculous. Whatever, dude. Small group of groceries, about $109. And the funny thing is, I bought meat, dude, but the meat was only $12, man, for a big pack of pork chops. Now they were center cut pork chops, probably not the best prime cut that most people like, but I don't care, man. I'm gonna drown these things in cream of mushroom, so nobody will know none the wiser, right? I fry up the pork chops. I put it in a slow cooker for a couple hours. In fact, I can do it overnight today. And by the time I open up that bad boy tomorrow morning to check it, dude, all the meat will be falling off the bone. Just pull all the bones out, throw it away, and then we have dinner. We have food for a couple days. Right? And I also bought some salmon that was on sale. So $109, dude. And that's why some of these people are wondering, right? Because this is the media right now talking about this stuff. And of course, Xbox never gets a fair shake. Never do. Right? Which is par for the course. You guys should know that already. Right? I was ranting about that a little bit in the half an hour that I did get to do this podcast. I'll get back on that as well because I think it is important. It's worth mentioning. Um, that Xbox, again, they're the industry leader, man. I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a crap if a lot of you guys are out there saying PlayStation. PlayStation sells a billion consoles. I could care less, dude. Everything that revolves around gaming, dude, is being influenced, being talked about, all of that stuff, right? is coming from Xbox. 24/7 news cycle, right? And it's funny, man, because if Xbox actually did go away, man, a lot of these people's channels would disappear because that's all they do is just talk about Xbox or hate on Xbox, right? Or just talk about console gaming and hate on console gaming, which usually means they're hating on Xbox. Right? Look, yeah, Nintendo, right? There was people complaining about Nintendo and all this kind of stuff. But imagine if Xbox did it, dude. It's nowhere near as bad. I don't care what anybody says. Like I'm sitting there listening to these people complain about it, right? And at the end of the day, like I said, you power of the consumer. If that thing's too much, I'm not gonna buy it, right? But people over there telling Nintendo how much they think they should be, that it's too expensive, that they're greedy. Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here with my popcorn, laughing my ass off, enjoying every single moment of it, because this is the gaming industry that they helped create, right? Because they never held these companies to task at all, not one bit. All these years, dude. When it came to Xbox, dude, they put them to the ringer, right? You know, they did the deep dive. They got every little statistic right, get in every nook and cranny, digging out, any type of stuff on Microsoft, on Xbox, what they're doing wrong, greedy corporation, have no games, 1080p, 990p, all that crap. Right? People going digital, but it only matters when Microsoft talks about going digital, right? When they were going to charge for Xbox Live, people still bring up the Ring of Death, dude. When the Nintendo launch thing happened, man, they were talking about the camera, dude, and then people were going back to 2013 about Xbox. That's how dominant Xbox is in the gaming space when it comes to the gaming culture. Good, bad, mediocre, doesn't matter. Xbox is always in people's mouths. So that's what I mean, dude. I'm sitting there watching you guys lose it over what Nintendo's doing, right? And they've been doing that for years, right? So obviously you guys are not, I'll just be honest with you, not true gamers. Because a lot of us old school gamers know what Nintendo did back in the day, right? Same thing with PlayStation. They've always been that way. Never gonna change. You guys are bothered by it now, probably because you guys are more strapped for cash. The economy's bad. Some of you guys can't buy like they used to, which isn't much, man. But let's be honest with you. Nintendo and PlayStation put out games at the same clip they used to do back in the day. PlayStation's in an even worse shape now because they can't have a third party they rely on. Like the AKB deal with COD. Like they could put COD on their console, get all the advertising rights, promoting like it's their game, right? And then all these knuckleheads would buy into that. Then they would play COD, right? And COD would hold them over until 2 years later when you get your next God of War. The sad thing about it is they're remastering some of these games again, and it still takes them a while to put the game back to put the game up. You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff like that. And you've allowed both Nintendo and Sony to do this for years. Shoot, for decades, if I'm being honest. Ever since I was a Sega fan back in the day, right? You guys allowed this to happen, and then now look at what's going on, right? You reap what you sow, brothers. You guys made your bed. Now you just got to sleep in it. And look, dude, again, I told you guys, man, I'm a petty guy. I'm a petty guy. I'm enjoying every single minute of it, dude. I got no horse in this race, personally, right? I mean, from an industry perspective, right? But the industry is in flux right now, and a lot of the reasons why the industry is in flux has really nothing to do with gaming as a whole, right? It's all the external factors right now, all the stuff going on in the world right now. That's more of an issue. And to be honest with you, man, these companies really can't control that. They're like the rest of us, just floating in the ocean. Hopefully, the current takes us to somewhere, a distant shore that's safe. But honestly, these people can't do anything about it at all. Yeah, I lost my. Sorry, guys, I'm waiting for this thing to load. I lost it. Because we are going to bring up the media. I was going to do a media blast video, which was going to focus just on the media itself. I got to try and bring it back, guys. Everything I had to shut it down because my power went off. And it's not complicated, guys. I'm just going to type in Xbox. And I'm using Bing, mind you. I'm going to use Bing. I already got my 150 points for the day, so that's good. But I wanted to run this one because this is more apropos of what I talk about and what we experience all the time. And again, even if you use the Bing, if you use Bing to look up Xbox news, considering it's a Microsoft app, you would think they'd be a little bit more Xbox friendly, but nope. And you guys that do this know what I'm talking about. See, look at this. See, it changed over. But 9 times out of 10, dude, when I hit Xbox and it's news, all the articles that hit the most are all the negative stuff. And I'm pretty sure I'm preaching to the choir, like I said, dude. You guys are like me, Xbox Online. You guys bleed green. I know you guys understand what I'm talking about. You guys have experienced it yourself firsthand. So I'm not talking out of turn here. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me shut this down before I close down the wrong window. I should be streaming, right? Oh yeah, I have to use that toolman jumped in. Yeah, here we go. This is it. Let me share the screen. We'll just jump into it, guys. If people jump in, oh, you know what? That's going to be kind of hard, guys, because I do have to share the. The link. Let me do that real quick, guys. Sorry. I had it all set up before, man, but now because of this. Because of what happened with the power. And you know it's funny, man. It's like it stopped raining already. But then again, I'm not exactly sure what's going on down the road outside of the valley because our sub station is down the road some ways. All right, on man. My boys over here, man, celebrating Good Friday. Again, Good Friday, man. Happy Good Friday to you guys. Hold on, let me send this stuff out again. So the brethren don't think I'm trying to not invite them because this again is the Wrecking Crew podcast. I know I normally do these on Saturdays, but I got stuff to do tomorrow. I kind of feel like though right now, man, I do want to take it back to Friday nights. It's going to be shorter. It's going to be a shorter show, just for the simple fact that a lot of people won't be able to come on Friday nights, or hopefully, I hope they can. And there we go, man. We're good. Sent it all out. And if the people pop in and the link's not working, then I'll just resend it out to them. Yeah, but let's go through this real quick. This is about as big as I can blow it up, guys. Sorry. All right, I just wanted to show you, right? Normally, when you do an Xbox search, as you see here, if you guys don't have Bing, get Bing. Start getting these points. You see these over here? Microsoft rewards. See how much I got? 163,401. Right? Create a Bing account. I think you still have to link it to your Microsoft account, which I do. Right? So whatever you do within the Xbox ecosystem, that has to do with money, man. You get a little bump back from them. I think they kind of toned down the bumping back, man, because I used to get a lot of points. But I understand it, dude. They got to make their money too, man. I'm not trying to get over on them, dude. I'm just happy that I got a little something back that works for me. I could cash all this in. This is like $163, man, if I'm being honest. Digital currency. That's what that translates to right there. All right, so I can just take this money and then I can go on the store and buy stuff. I use this sometimes to pay for my. I used to use it all the time to pay for my Game Pass. All right. In fact, I use it to mostly pay for my daughter's one. But I just bought a couple games, dude. I was like at 156 a couple days ago. I'm up at 163. Well, not a couple games. I bought like 10, 12 games. They're all on sale. But still, it all adds up, right, guys? You know, the stuff you buy in the store. And they had a great sale. Xbox had a great sale. Highly recommend checking it out. They have a spring sale going on right now. And already there's a couple games I got my eye on. I'm just going to have to wait for payday for that to swing around, dude. You know what I mean? Got to keep some money in the bank just in case. Look, I'm not saying I'm living the easy life, but you know, dude, look, I've been around the block enough to know. I know quite a few things I have to do right. You have to keep it copacetic, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but this is what it's all about at the end of the day, right here, right? And what I mean by right here, sorry, I'll just click on this real. This is weird for me, man, because it's actually all the first couple of stories. If you guys want to see, let's go back to this real quick, right here. See it? It's actually pretty positive. But all this week, every time I open it up, man, it's something negative. And we like this one right here. We can get into this. Xbox Game Pass is not for everybody, says Phil Spencer. You know, I talked about this in the podcast I was doing a little earlier before the power kicked off. You know, I understand Phil's going to be Phil, right? Like I was saying, the only problem I have with this. Well, I won't talk about it then. We'll cover this and then I'll switch back to it. Let's see. So as you can see, it's actually pretty positive. Probably I'll give it a little thumbs up. They have a bunch of games on sale, and by sale, dude, a lot of them are cheap. You're getting some really great deals. But some of them, you know, they might be like 20%. You know, 39.99 to 27.99. You know what I'm saying? Like along those lines. Let's see. Red Dead Redemption right here too. It's for $15. Elden Ring 36. That's still pretty. That's still pretty high. Oh, Alan Wake 2 Deluxe Edition 42. Subnautica 9.89. I already bought that. It's been on sale many times. Like the Cuphead and the Delicious Last Course, man. I know a lot of you guys like me kind of fell out of sorts with Cuphead. You know, they made a business decision. That was fine for them, dude. I made a consumer decision. I still like the game is still amazing. Though. I'm not gonna say that it's not. I actually do like the developer. And I understand, man. They were trying to, they were trying to make their money, but also, these guys got to be more smart than that, dude. They feel for the rope dope, man. Like all these guys have this idea that PlayStation has all these consoles out in the wild, and that these people are buying one for one with these games. At the end of the day, dude, if they wanted to go multi-console, that's fine, man. But they work with Xbox and Microsoft helped them out a lot. Right. Yeah, man. That's why all these dudes that would sit here and talk about how greedy Microsoft is, they're gonna ruin game and stuff like that. Now you look where we are now as we sit today, 2025. What is today? April 19th, right? As we're sitting and looking at how everything is right now, or April 18th, right? Who's on top? Who's on bottom? Yeah, and like I said, man, it's I have no sympathy at this point, right? Because you guys let this industry become what it was, or what it is from what it was, and now you guys don't like it. But it's too late, man. You should have spoke up a long time ago. You should have been changing the tides a long time ago, but you guys never did. Hey, what's up, my brother? Hey, jump in if you want. I sent you the link on Instagram. Sorry, dude. The original, used the most current link because my power went off, dude. When I was streaming about half hour ago. But if you want to jump in, I already sent you the link on Instagram. Shout out to Hebot, man. Hopefully he can jump in. I'm pretty sure he has some opinions on this. Yeah, on Instagram. Hold on, let me go back and double check. Hold on, brother. We have a flash flood warning here, so I mean, where I'm at is not bad. I think it's more along the coastal side, more on the west side. Where you at, bro? I'm gonna send it to you again. You said I sent it at 3:30. Now it's saying I sent it to you at 3:37. You should have it. Ebot says, "What's up, too, man?" Whoa. Oh man, is everybody still there? Oh, okay, I thought there's a little glitch in the matrix, man. Yeah, brother, if you can jump in, man, just jump in. We'll go for a little while. I'm trying to get back to Friday nights. The podcast will be shorter, but on Saturdays, man, I got other stuff I got to do too. Though I am going to do a pop culture podcast. But I prefer to do the Wrecking Crew podcast because of the stuff I wanted to talk about. So I definitely wanted to get this one off. If tomorrow other stuff pops off and I'm not able to do a pop culture podcast, then that's fine too. I really wanted to do the Wrecking Crew though this week. That's why I'm doing it right now. Because I got up early today. Mainly because of the flash flood warning, but I mean, I'm not saying it came out of nowhere. It was overcast and it was kind of dark, but now it's like it is bad. And then the rain just started, so we'll see how it goes, man. But yeah, jump in, bro, because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. But just getting back to this real quickly, guys. As you can see, Xbox Spring Sale, dude. For a lot of you guys, man, at the end of the day, who are complaining about all the prices, everything going up, I get it, right? I'm not a big proponent of greed. I'm not a big proponent of corporate greed, stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And like I said, man, a lot of you guys, man, you guys need to take this medicine right now. Because if Xbox ever tried to do anything, right, and then you guys would you guys would be vocal about it. A lot of it, I mean, look, the guys like me, the guys in the crew, we know why. Or you just hate Xbox, you prefer a PlayStation, most of you guys, or another console, right? You guys have no, you guys just want Xbox to die, right? So that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. But then you also have the people that, that come under that as well, because that's the narrative that you guys created, right? And then it's also pushed by the gaming media, right? And it becomes the perception of what's actually going on in the gaming community. And this is why I like when this stuff happens to you. Not because I want you guys to suffer. Well, I'll kind of suffer. But just because, you guys deserve what you get right at this point in time. It's payback, dude. Or it's like a boomerang effect, dude. You reap what you sow, like I said earlier. That's what it boils down to at the end, man. Because if a lot of the stuff that Xbox was doing bothered you, dude, you would hold Nintendo and PlayStation, you would hold their feet to the fire. And I'm not talking about now when it's actually affecting you. It's too late, right? You already created this problem. You guys built. Hey, what's up, Vontae? Sorry, brother. I was off on the off screen. Welcome, bro. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Maybe Hibato will jump in a second or two. Sent in the link as well as everybody else. We'll see who can join up again. Vontae, you know me. I'm not consistent at all with the time, so I'm mixing it up tonight. Thinking about bringing them back to Friday nights because on Saturdays I'm gonna have other stuff to do, or I won't have the window of time that I usually have. Right. And actually, I enjoy this. I enjoy doing this right now. It'll be a shorter podcast, that's for sure, because I won't be able to stay. I got. You know, that's why I like doing it on Saturdays, and then we can do those long podcasts where we can have a chance. But I'm gonna have to tighten it up a little bit on the ship right now. But welcome, brother. Thanks for being here, man. But yeah, you guys. I mean, so that's what I'm saying, right? Now it matters to you guys, right? It matters to you guys now because it's affecting you directly, right? But all of this stuff has been set in stone for years. You allowed these two companies to do what they want, whatever they wanted to do. Never held them feet to the fire while they were doing all this stuff. While you should have been paying attention to your console of choice or to these other two companies as a gamer. You always ultra focused on Microsoft and what Microsoft um, was or was not doing. And the interesting thing, I talked about this years ago, and I bring it up from time to time on my channel. I actually benefited from all this hate as a consumer. Not so much as a fan, but definitely as a consumer. Right. This is why I don't worry about Microsoft a lot. A lot of you guys, I used to do the first world problems, which was mostly videos that actually looked at things that Microsoft were doing. But I didn't have to. I stopped doing that, right? Because number one, they were few and far between. But anytime there was an issue, I didn't have to worry about it because you guys would always bring it up. Even when things, whether good or bad, you guys always bring up these issues. And what it did, though, is Microsoft was paying attention to that and they were course correct. So I never had to really do anything about it. Unless it's something that really bothered me, then I would talk about it. But for the most part, man, I do owe you guys a debt of gratitude because of your hate and maliciousness and your deception about all things that are Xbox, dude. It actually made it better for us on the Xbox side as consumers because Xbox couldn't deem themselves to ever do something outside of the norm because that's how they are. And since you guys have the biggest microphones in the room, right? I didn't have to worry about some of the things that a lot of these companies are doing now, right? Because you guys, again, this is the environment that you guys created, right? So again, you made your bed, you guys got to sleep on it, sleep in it. Avante says, "Cool by me. I'm still at work anyway, so I have fun listening." Yeah, Avante, appreciate it, dude. Appreciate it so much, man. It was a pretty crazy week for me. As you can tell, I did videos on other topics on my channel, but that was very interesting. But I do remember, man, my roots, dude. I know that I'm a pro Xbox channel first and foremost, and also popular culture. That's why I want to pop up a podcast tomorrow. I kind of want to talk about the Fantastic Four. Marvel continues not to learn their lessons about what's going on in the world around them and their fan base. Um, I have no hope for these guys at all. And then we'll touch on other stuff as well, man. Some anime. Uh, they got some good shows on Netflix, dude, that dropped. I was kind of caught off guard. I saw a good trailer for Moonscape, I think is the name of it, dude. And that trailer, man. The trailer alone, dude, just because the art that's on there, dude, I'm hooked. I'm all in, man. I need that, dude. I need that because I need something to take my mind off of solo leveling, since that season isn't going to be coming back for a while. For some reason, I thought some of my other animes were going to drop, but they're not going to drop till after summertime. And that was reaffirmed because I love Freeing. It's one of my favorite animes right now, and they're actually on Netflix, which tells me all I need to know. So probably won't get that one to the end of the year. We'll see how it works out, brother. But thanks for being here again. But again, getting back to the article right here, right? Xbox Spring Sale is live. Please go check this out. We'll go on the Xbox. There are over, like, they're saying, like 1,000 games, 900 or 1,000 games that's on sale. I saw the list because I was picking up games the other day before the deadline. Like I picked up Coral Island, one of my favorite games. The only problem I have with Coral Island is that it has a bug. I hope they fixed it because I didn't go back to it because the bug was so bad. It just bothered me. Um, and I heard that they did fix it, but got distracted by other games. So it actually left Game Pass, and I definitely knew I was going to pick it up because it's a very fun game. That's a game that I'll be playing um, constantly. It's going to be on replay for me. Um, yeah, when I was looking at all these games, trying to figure out what to buy from the previous week sale, then they had a sneak preview of the spring sale. And already there's a couple channels I follow that specifically talk about the sales on Xbox, right? And so looking at that spring sale, just taking a glance at it, dude, I already got 5 games added to my wish list at very reasonable prices. And that's kind of the point I want to make here, guys, for all these people that are crying about these 80 $90 games, dude. If these games were 50 or $60, I doubt they'll buy it anyway. Sometimes, I mean, look, dude, I'm not here trying to defend corporations like Nintendo and Sony, man. I've seen the dirt that they've done my whole life, right? Especially as a Sega fan and an Xbox fan. But what I am saying is sometimes there's a method to their madness, right? Right? And one of the things that they're doing, man, is there's two ways to go about this, right? Either you sell it at a less than premium price, and then you get a making it more affordable or a better price point. You get people that will buy the game in mass amounts, so you can make profit on that. The other way to do it is maybe you're not going to sell as much, but you raise the cost of it, and it's almost like for every one sale you get, you can get by for every one sale you make, it's like getting 2 or 3 sales if the game were like on a cheaper level, right? So sometimes that's what they factor in, man. I mean, it's not a zero sum game when it comes to the way that these people try to make money, dude. You guys should know that by now. You can see all the stuff that Xbox is doing on their side with Game Pass, the live service stuff, dude. The reason why they bought COD and Overwatch, right? They be dropping all new stuff all the time, dude. They want you plugged in, they want you tuned in, man, and more importantly, they want you opening your wallet, dude. And I'm telling you, this much I do know, or do I feel that what Microsoft, in my opinion, what they're doing, right, is that it doesn't matter if it's $5, doesn't matter if it's $100. The point being is that there's a bunch of people doing that all the time. It's a nonstop thing, right? Where the money just keeps on flowing in. Because they know at the end of the day, man, what we all know, but nobody wants to talk about, right? Because everybody's ultra focused on 80 $90 games. The reality of all of this is not everybody can buy a video. There's not enough of us to support the industry as big as it is right now. I mean, by us, I mean us, the actual guys who game, right? And then, in fact, we'll segue to that's kind of what Phil was pointing out in his interview that he did with Vanity Fair, right? I believe it was Vanity Fair, where he basically came on and said, Game Pass is not for everybody, right? And then he's getting lambasted over that. People are coming out with their stupid opinions and theories. Most of these people, again, why they piss me off is they don't. I guarantee you, they don't own Xboxes. They don't play Game Pass. They don't play the services, and they're not on Game Pass, and they don't have an Xbox. They don't probably even have Game Pass on PC. And probably most of them play, or if they're on another console, they can't get Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? So why should I even listen to these dudes? But they have the bigger channels, man. They have, for some reason, influence. In fact, for some of these guys, Microsoft does videos with them. Right? I understand the nature of the beast, but again, right? Why would I listen to any of these people, man? They don't have no skin in this game, dude. They're not Xbox all in. They ain't Xbox strong. The only time they talk positive about Xbox is if there's a spring sale, right? Or they do a showcase because nobody else is doing showcases, though Nintendo finally did one. You know what I'm saying? So why listen to these guys? I don't. I definitely don't. But at the end of the day, what all people are gonna do is like what you're seeing here, guys, is just everybody's gonna wait till the game goes on sale. That's what everybody does. Right? And that's just something that the industry has to realize because some of these companies are not course correcting. They should learn from Hollywood, man. If Hollywood does a blockbuster and it doesn't do well, right? It either doesn't get a sequel, or if it gets a sequel, the budget is cut. And by doing well, I mean it could make like 300 million, but maybe everything with the advertising and cost was like 175 million. So when you break that all down, you add it all up, they didn't get as much money as they wanted, right? And that affects the next thing that's coming up from this. Not just this, if there's a sequel or not a sequel, or if the sequel and they get less money, but the studio as a whole. That could affect their other projects. For some reason, right? And I'm gonna have to leave Microsoft out of this because it's Microsoft is Xbox is Microsoft, and Microsoft has a lot of money, right? But what I'm saying for a lot of these companies, man, that they do these kind of things, man, and they don't learn. Right? Now, maybe selling 1 million plus is enough nowadays. I tend to believe the game has to be on the smaller end for it to be beneficial. Right? But when you're in the upper echelon of second or more importantly third AAA games, dude, you have to get a return on that investment, and that's the issue I've always had with these guys, man. Because over here sitting criticizing Xbox for what they're doing, or what they're not doing, or for just being there, right? That's all it is as an Xbox guy. Meanwhile, the console of their choice and the company that they're supporting is running roughshod all over them. And again, I enjoy it, dude. Like I said, I get my popcorn, I sit back, I watch it. Dude, I have a good laugh, I have a smile on my face, right? It's almost as entertaining as the other stuff that I love watching, right? To some extent, right? And then once I've had my fill, then I just walk away, and 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna go play my games. So but the best advice I can give you guys as gamers, especially if you're on the Xbox side, dude, is be consumer conscious, right? Because at the end of the day, there is a fandom within the Xbox community, but I don't think that fandom is on that level that everybody thinks it is. And some of it is self-inflicted by Xbox themselves, in my opinion. Right? Some of it is because of the way the gaming media is and gamers in general. Dude, again, I say this all the time. A lot of these guys grew up in a PlayStation generation. That's all they know. And most of them are casual. So you put those two things together, and this is why the gaming industry is in trouble, right? Because if you're a gamer, man, and you see the stuff that's coming out on Xbox, man, you know these guys want to play it. You know that they want to play it, dude. They just don't want to buy an Xbox. But even if they put it on PlayStation, dude, you don't see the sales numbers, right? And I already knew that because they don't buy their own games. Anyway, it's that whole thing, right? And it makes it harder for everybody, right? The people that are in the industry that create things, and the people that are in the industry that produces stuff, and people that consume these things, because they have a false idea of what gaming really is. And gaming shouldn't be run by a company that's going backwards, or doesn't want to invest, or doesn't want to take risks, right? Or has to count pennies, or has to lie to their audience. That's not an industry leader, dude. The industry leader is the person that's doing everything just the opposite, and that's what Microsoft is doing right now with Xbox, right? Untouchable. In fact, because of all this news that's happening with Nintendo and Sony, right? People are beginning to appreciate Microsoft a little bit more, but too little, too late in my book. Dude, you guys just gonna have to take this out, take your medicine, suck down hard, and just deal with it. Because again, man, you guys created this problem, and that problem is no longer my problem. But anyway, you guys get time, man. Go look at the spring sale, dude. It's really good. They got a lot of good stuff on there. Let's see. The other thing we want to talk about today. Go over here. Oh man, I guess we can get into this one because there's something else I wanted to talk about. Though. Oh yeah, Oblivion. Oh yeah, new Doom controller. That's pretty awesome. I need to get a new Elite controller. So, oh, is this an Elite controller? Is there an Elite version? Are they gonna do two? One Elite and one that's regular. Oh, sorry guys. Let's see. I guess if this one's Elite, I could get it. Actually, but I'm not a big Doom guy, guys, and it's nothing against Doom per se. Sorry, let me share this, guys. I'm getting there. I'm getting there, guys. Like, I don't have a problem with Doom. I just can't play it. So, but it'd still be cool to have this controller. You can use this controller for anything, really. I try and keep it like specifically for what it represents. That's why I have so many controllers. So, like, if I'm playing Forza and I have the Forza controller, I like to use the Forza controller. You see what I'm saying? I still use the ones that come in the package. Because to me, that's just for general gaming. Though I have to say, man, I mean, some of the quality controllers dropped on their stuff. You need to get it back up to par. That's why I think it's worth to buy the Elite series because I've never had a problem with them. Never had any button stick or joystick drift or any of that stuff. With some of my other controllers I've had. I was actually thinking about going back and actually, um, doing a revisit to some of the tech that I used to do the all in tech stuff and just update everybody on the actual status of some of these controllers. It's actually pretty good. If I'm not gonna lie. I try and keep my stuff pretty pristine, but like anything else, man, you wear them out, dude. Especially like me, I play a lot of shooters, play a lot of COD, play a lot of not Left 4 Dead, but a lot of the more current shooters that are out now. I at least give them a try or end up liking it and playing it. The only problem with some of this stuff is that it's like some of the games that I've been playing, man. It's it is what it is at the end of the day. But hold on, okay. Ah, but this is pretty cool, man. And then I like that Microsoft keeps on doing things like this, too. The fact, like I see all the time on this channel, man, I think they get to level 100 at some point, man. They actually allow us to build custom consoles for the fan base. Number one, to make sure that we get to create something and that we actually get it. That, you don't have to go online because somebody scalped all this stuff and selling it. Even if they sold it for 299, you know what I mean? That's still not a thing, guys. At some point, you're going to have to buy stuff. Just put it to you that way. But again, rare form right here that I typed in Xbox, and then we actually have some really good articles. First and foremost, not always the case. In fact, 90% of the time, it's never like this. It's always negative. And then what else we got? Shoot, dude, this is weird, man. Because when I tried this earlier in the morning, dude, it was all negative. Oh, here's the other one, the mobile app rate. That's coming. Or is it out yet? I've already told you guys my issues with playing stuff on mobile. It's more of my physical limitations. Well, I do like to stream your own game thing. The games that you own, you can stream it now. Yeah, dude, and it's stuff like this, man, that Xbox should be getting more credit for. Right? Again, this is what industry leaders do. They don't copy, man, they innovate. That's pretty cool though. I gotta get this and try it out. See if it works as good as they're showing it. Oh, yeah, sorry. I lost in the mix here. What else we got? Uh, let's see. Did I just lose that? I did, yeah. Yeah, here we go. We'll go to Central. Jennifer Young wrote this article. Let me share it with you guys. I mean, you guys can see it. This is the one that got me to like click on. If I'm being honest, all the other stuff I see in passing, just kind of dip in and say, "Oh, that's pretty cool." That this is the one that got me to click on the article right away. Right. Again, Phil Spencer did an interview with Vanity Fair and or Variety. Sorry, not Vanity Fair. And look, dude, I'm not trying to say anything about what's said or not said. Right. I take the interview for what it is. I don't think there was any ulterior motives or anything like that. Right. No hidden messages, or at least I didn't take that from there. Phil's pretty consistent when I look at him when he does these interviews. He does say that he tries to make it a conscious effort not to spoil anything, which I 100% do believe. And that's why sometimes they don't respond to something right away. They let it, you know, kind of marinate in their brain before they come out with whatever thoughts there, right? Or their reactions a lot of times, right? So for me, man, I see this and I'm like, look, dude, they've taken this and they've flipped it every way, every which way but loose. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, and again, I'm not surprised because this is what they always do, right? But at the end of the day, it's kind of like, dude, you just, like I said, Wrecking Crew, today's podcast, dude, rinse, wash, and repeat, dude. They just keep on doing this, and it's not, they never let up, and it's always nonstop. And this is why I told you guys, man, I don't agree with some of the stuff that Xbox is doing, the path that they're going down, right? And I kind of pull away from that, man, because at some point in time, man, they're gonna have to figure this out for themselves, right? I can't be sitting here all the time telling them, look, dude, just take these dudes out and then claim what's rightfully yours, right? Who cares if people hate you? They'll forget. They don't, it's never going to be that serious, right? But this is the direction that they decided to go in. And then, of course, Phil Spencer coming out talking about all things Xbox, and then he's talking about Game Pass. So everybody's been kind of worried at the YMCA I go to. Um, when we talk about these kind of things, dude. And anyway, at the end of the day, dude, I look at this kind of stuff and I'm like, bro, you know what? These guys are gonna take it however way they want to. I can't do anything about that. I can't help that. All I can do is just like enjoy my games, right? And then hold Xbox accountable, like I talked about earlier, right? Is the one thing that bothers me the most is just like, dude, if this affects me as a consumer, right? Now I'm kind of getting confused because I was talking about this earlier, I think on the previous podcast that died. But anyway, I'll just bring it back to now. If I'm repeating myself, I do apologize. But I can't really do anything about that, right? So the things like they decide to do that's outside of my control, that I don't agree with, right? But at the end of the day, all I'm looking at Xbox right now is as a consumer, dude. Look, I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong, I am a fan of of Xbox and stuff like that. But again, dude, I can't sit there and be on social media, be looking at the news, man, be in the comment section, right, being on X, and just having these dudes constantly just blast Xbox, right? And before I would be like, no, that's not what he's saying. No, you're reading too much into it, and then on a couple occasions, man, the news actually got it right. Not very much, not a lot, right? And they basically you throw up anything on a wall, you're gonna hit something. You throw the kitchen sink, everything on the kitchen sink stuff is gonna stick to the wall. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's gonna happen. Dude. Like a broken clock is right twice in one day. That's just the reality of it, right? So but for me personally, dude, I just can't do it, man. Because I know they know, right, what the narrative out there and the perception is of their product. And again, right, I sit back there and I'm like, okay, as long as you guys know, and it's not going to affect me, not so much as a fan, but right now as a consumer. Again, like I said earlier, 1,000 games digital, right? Look through my collection of games, I have at least 70 physical. Because I used to have hundreds of games physical, but I sold everything, right? I'm in your ecosystem, dude. I subscribe to Game Pass. I paid for some of the content on Game Pass, the upgrades and stuff like that, dude. I'm all in, right? Xbox all in. I'm all in, right? So I can't dig out. I can't change. This is it, man. This is where I am. This is the space I'm in. So at the very least, as a consumer, man, hopefully I can trust you guys to do what's right, right? Because when you hear something like this, again, I'm not talking about the haters or the people that just want Xbox to die, dude. I'm talking about me as a consumer with an Xbox and with an ultimate subscription to Game Pass, um, and not trying to read into it as much as possible, but also being we're going to hold these guys accountable, man. Because if this stuff goes away, right? If this stuff goes away at the end of the day, dude, that's going to affect me. So as long as you guys do this stuff and it doesn't affect me, I'm fine with it, right? We can just keep it at that level. Because again, put in a lot of time, put in a lot of money on this stuff. But Phil just laughs it off. And so, look, dude, I'll go with optimism this time. I won't choose violence. I'll just sit there and think, you know what, Microsoft is so rich, it doesn't matter to them, honestly. And in some aspects, that is more believable than the other option because they do have that kind of money. They are getting the engagement. Phil talks about this. He's been talking about this ad nauseum, dude, with the exception of Indiana Jones and what happened with that narrative. I mean, Phil's pretty direct and pretty straightforward. Um, so I just take it as it is. Because at the end of the day, another thing too, I can't really do much about it. Though I will say, man, if they decide to, if their console and stuff like that, all this stuff happens that I'm not down with, dude. Again, I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm already in that zone and that mindset. I'll be moving on. And by moving on, I'm not talking about going to another console, dude. I just sit there and look, well, I can spend some time doing other stuff. You know, I'm not gonna die. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. And pump that one. And dude, this is crazy, man. I have to say, this is actually pretty good. A pretty good feed right now. Oh wait, I don't want to do this one. That has nothing to do. Let me just type in Xbox Oblivion. Let me see. Dude, everybody is. So again, I'm just playing my games, kind of staying in my zone, and this Oblivion news hits, dude, and it was crazy, dude. Hold on. It was like everything else at the Xbox, right? First, it was kind of rumors, right? But as soon as the rumors came out, there was all the haters um, that jumped on board initially. Okay. Let me see. I'll just show you. I'm not going to read this article, guys. I'm just going to share it with you guys. Yeah, this one. More Oblivion remastered details, including a release date, having seemingly been outed by Xbox's own support account, which I think is funny. I like to think they did that on purpose, actually, to get a buzz. 21st is that's the rumor that I heard. And it even says that right here on the article. A little bit more down. Did I like? Can you see? Here we go, guys. Pretty sure you guys can see it now, right? Right here in the bold. Alleged release date is just a few days from now on April 21st, 2025. After playing Avowed, dude, I would actually jump into this. Avowed is not your typical RPG, action RPG. It definitely has the trappings of a traditional action RPG, but with the leveling and some of the stuff that they did, that's why I'm enjoying my second time around playing Avowed. And I'm playing it more now because I actually know what's going on. Right? With the leveling system and how it's important that you actually break down materials to upgrade your equipment, because that's what it's basically. That's how you kind of level up, dude. It's not about how many. I mean, there's an experience point thing, but that's not the main thing. And then it doesn't give you the options to farm stuff like I normally do when I play those types of games. And this is probably the most positive news I've seen from Xbox, because there are people in denial, but once people began to realize that it's going to happen, then there was a natural excitement for it. So I'm happy for Xbox, dude. And then of course the rumors that they're going to do other games as well, not just Oblivion. Right, already the rumor is Fallout 3, which I would love to play again, remastered. And these are the type of games. This is why this is what sets Microsoft and Xbox apart from Sony and PlayStation. PlayStation doesn't have these type of games that have the replayability on the level that Xbox does. right? The online service games, the quality of the games, that that their monetary systems within the games is built to last. It's built to get money, right? It's built to be successful. It's on Instagram, brother. I can't send it on X anymore. I sent it on messages on Instagram. I just sent it again. You should see it. People don't realize the some of the IP that Xbox owns are basically eternal, man. Stuff like Oblivion, Morrowind. Well, they own them now, right? They weren't owned before, but you guys know what I'm saying, man. They own a lot more studios, right? They're doing it right. They're not getting any credit for it. They get a lot of hate, but they know what they're doing. So that's another thing that gives me pause when I have like kind of doubts about what they're doing, and I realize, what, dude, just let them cook and let them follow through, and it'll be okay. And I say 90% of the time that is true. And actually, the only time I've ever had problems, for the most part, when they haven't followed through, it has to do with them believing some kind of trend or listening to the wrong people, like crap like that, dude, which I can't stand. But this was a big thing, dude. Right? It was huge, man. The buzz was everywhere. And that's how I picked up on it, right? Because again, I was doing other stuff, and then of course more folk listening to everybody just cry because everybody's just crying all the time about Nintendo, the games. You know, you guys never said anything to Nintendo before. Now all of a sudden they care. I mean, and at the end of the day, dude, again, like I said, the economy's bad. It's probably hurting their bottom line. But that's the dude. At some point in time, man, are you a gamer or are you not a gamer? When I was a game back in the day, man, I was a gamer, dude. I didn't have all the money in the world, but I put money aside for my games because that's what I enjoy doing. Because I'm a gamer, right? Again, man, if you guys were around when the industry was first trying to kick off, dude, this industry would have died, man. I'm sorry, man. I just have to be honest and be blunt. The amount of whining that I see from people, right? And again, dude, you guys should have been doing this for years, man. It's too late now. You've gone past the precipice, man. We're at the point of no return. Right? I don't know how you guys are gonna course correct this stuff. These guys do a live stream, and then you guys just say drop the price, drop the price, drop the price, and that's gonna matter. The thing you don't realize is that there are gonna be people that are gonna buy this stuff, right? Look, dude, if you guys feel you're gonna make a difference, man, more power to you. But at the end of the day, they have a core audience of people that are gonna buy this. They also have people that only play one, two, three games. This is what Phil Spencer was talking about. It's kind of, if I'm being honest, it's almost like a backhand comment what he said, right? To when he addressed the question, right? Basically saying, if you only buy one or two games a year, this is the Game Pass is not technically for you, right? It's a waste of money, or it's not your thing, right? To me, a lot of people like, oh, Game Pass is in trouble. So I look at it, I also read it as a point. I read it as a point. It's like, yeah, dude, you guys aren't. And I'm 100% behind that because I honestly believe you guys are not. Hey, brother, I sent you the link on Instagram. Let me know if you want to pop in. If not, because I'm probably going to wrap it up, dude. I don't have much. I didn't have much to talk about today. I mean, I have these topics that I wanted to touch, but if you guys would have came in, it probably would have went a little longer. But dude, I'm good. I'm actually good. In fact, let me stop sharing this real quick. Yeah, I have to shut this down. Bring myself back up. Yeah, no worries, man. I was having problems earlier, man. My internet died. I started it like I had a half an hour in to the podcast earlier, and dude, it just died. probably do a podcast tomorrow for pop culture. Hopefully, we'll see, guys. I do got some stuff that I gotta do. I'll probably just slide in when I can. I don't want to do it too late. You know what I might do? I might run it because 100 talks about games, and it's cool if nobody jumps on. Man. I just want to talk about some stuff. Talk about Marvel. Talk about the Fantastic Four. You know, I've pretty much given up on Disney, Star Wars, Disney, Star Wars, Disney, Marvel. I don't think these guys are ever gonna learn. I don't think they have the capability to learn. And again, I'm a fan, guys. That's why it bugs me, man. I can't for the life of me understand why they moved away from their formula. I mean, they gave all the excuses in the world, all the reasons in the world. None of them make sense. And as you guys can see, right? And for a lot of these guys, man, they didn't expect the woke stuff to turn like it did. And these guys weaponized it. They weaponized DEI. They weaponized woke, right? And they thought they were going to be untouchable. And that thing shifted on a dime on them, and that's why they are in the situation they're in. But yeah, but I don't know, man. I mean, look, I don't want to give you guys the thing that I'm all negative over here. That's not the point. Just trying to point out some truth, share some facts, right? And for me personally, dude, at the end of the day, after I'm done with this, I'll just jump on my Xbox, and it's all good, dude. That's how good it is on with the Xbox One and their services, dude. Like I have like 5 games right now. I could easily just jump in and play. I just bought a couple more the other day, like I was talking about earlier, dude. So I don't want to sit here and make you guys feel like, oh, this dude hates Xbox. It's over for Xbox. Nah, it's nothing like that, dude. I will hold them accountable when they need to be held accountable. But dude, 90% of the stuff they're doing, or 92% of the stuff they're doing, is just killing it. That's why I can read into it different ways when it comes to film, man. If I was just dropping bombs and freaking hitting it out of the park 24/7, then of course I'd have a little bit of, you know, I'd be, have a little bit of that ego. I'm not gonna lie, and they worked hard for that stuff, man. It's just I wish they would follow through on becoming the leader because they're the de facto leader of in the gaming industry, right? And just follow through and just absolutely take these other dudes out and do so that they can rule the roost and they can make the decisions, and so their bottom line isn't affected by the other two companies, right? Which I feel is ridiculous, personally. Ugh. No worries, Eva, brother. You know what, man? I'm actually getting a little bit tired, dude. I can feel the sleep coming on me right now. Kind of fading in and out, dude. Hopefully, I know I'm getting tired, man. My eyes are getting heavy. But no worries, brother, dude. I'll do another podcast. I'll just shoot you the link. If you want, let me know, man. We can do it all in one as well. And you can give your opinions on everything, just unabashed, uncut, unadulterated, no interruptions. All right. So yeah, guys, let me wrap it up really quickly, man. Sorry again, dude. I'm actually getting tired. I can feel it now, bro. I might go take a nap. I mean, nap for 45 minutes and then get up and play South at Midnight because I do want to play that today. In fact, I should power that game up, man, because I think they had an update that I'm gonna have to download, and Lord knows how long that's gonna take. I found out from my cable company, man, that the equipment we have is outdated because my streaming has been pretty bad. Even on, for the most part, my streaming is usually good. Yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah, guys, but so Xbox on the channel, man. Thank you guys for joining me. Let me shout out to everybody. Hebot, no worries, dude. We can do it another time. Fonte, thanks for being here, brother. Toolman, thanks for being here as well. Shout out to Daniel Berry, who was in here originally about when I first started the podcast before I died. Dude, really appreciate everybody being there, man. Check out the channel, comment down below. And Xbox on the channel, we out.